President Trump says he will announce a new Bureau of Labor Statistics chief this week because he fired former Commissioner Erika McEntarfer last week, claiming without evidence the July jobs report was rigged. Now, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett discussed the administration's reasoning for that on Meet the Press.
The evidence is that there have been a bunch of revisions that could appear to partisans. Oh, I mean, the revisions are hard evidence. There have been a bunch of patterns that could make people wonder. And I think the most important thing for people to know is that it's the president's highest priority that the data be trusted.
CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is tracking the latest for us on this. Good morning, Weijia. So tell us more about the White House's justification for this firing and really how much confidence all of us can have in the BLS's economic data.
So, Errol, what we just heard there from Kevin Hassett is really the extent of the evidence the administration has presented. When President Trump himself has talked about this, he has called it phony numbers. He accused the former commissioner of a scam. And basically, that's how he's explaining the weak jobs report. And it's really twofold. You see here that only 73,000 jobs were added. That's fewer than expected. In addition to that, the numbers were revised down for the previous 2 months of June and May. So 250,000 fewer jobs were created than initially reported. But, Errol, that's pretty typical. If you look at every jobs report, there are revisions upward or downward. And that's because initially it's based on estimates. And then people fill in surveys, that additional data comes in, and they revise the numbers. The problem is, Errol, that some economists say, look, yeah, the data is not reliable, especially in 2025 when people are not responding to their surveys. But weak data is not the same as doing it with intent, of doing it for, partisan reasons, which is what the president is accusing. And so that is what we're still waiting to understand more of, why he says this one particular person, somehow fudged the numbers to make Trump look bad.
Right. Interesting. And another big headline we're following, Weijia, the Office of the Special Counsel is now investigating former Trump prosecutor Jack Smith. Why specifically?
That's right. Jack Smith, you might remember, back in 2022 was appointed as special counsel, and then he oversaw 2 of federal prosecutions of President Trump. And many of Trump's allies have been calling for the Office of Special Counsel to investigate Smith, to see whether he violated the Hatch Act, which really prohibits and limits what federal employees can say when it comes to campaigns, can participate in when it comes to political activity. And they are accusing Smith of being nothing more than a sounding board, than a tool for the Democratic Party. Democrats say there is no evidence here, and they're just trying to politicize the Office of the Special Counsel, which digs into these things and looks at investigations. So we'll have to see what happens here. But we also know, Errol, that Trump himself has long criticized Smith, and it is one of his top political foes in the president's view.
All right, a lot to follow. Weijia, thank you very much.